How's it going, my lovely death disciples? I am the Shattered Reaper, and today we are going to be showing off a League of Legends match that I just recently had that went amazing. I mean, after a huge string of just well, let's just say a lot of ranked defeats that did not go well. I had basically just got an amazing match where I was like, I wanted to like expand my roster a little bit, test out some heroes, know how they work, what it is they can do, and the hero I decided to test out, and I also decided to test out a new rune set that I had actually been recommended from some YouTube videos that I wanted to figure out how I could do better because of my string of losses in ranked, which definitely led to a few problems, and I will admit I did terribly in those games, but the toxicity really did not help, and I just really kind of want to get away from those kinds of comments and just get back to the part where I did amazing, or at least decently well, because I just want to do good. I want to do good again. I want to do decent again. I want to get back to that. And this match, I definitely feel like I may have just figured out how I can do that, at least for one hero. And the hero I worked with is Warwick. And I made a rune set, and I also changed some of the rune names as well. So I made a bunch of new rune sets, and I'm going to show you in my collection what it is that I got so far. So I only can make 3 custom rune sets, and I decided to change the names a little bit. And add some new ones. So one of the first ones I did was the Graceful Death Dance, which you may remember from my Master Yi gameplay and my Jean gameplay. Oh wait, right, the Master Yi videos were on my other channel. Sorry about that. But you may remember Graceful Death Dance for Jean. Now it is called Kurnos' Wild Hunt, which is in reference, these are all actually references to Warhammer's Elven Pantheon, some of their most important gods and goddess, Isha. So Kurnos' Wild Hunt was one of my ADC runes, which has Lethal Tempo, Triumph, Legendary, Bloodline, Cutdown, Domination, Ravenous Hunter, and Taste of Blood. Then we got Isha's Grace, which is more for my support heroes, and it's basically for like when I play heroes like Sona or any other heroes like that. It's basically meant to be for healing, so there's like Guardian, Font of Life, Second Wind, Revitalize, and then there's also the Mana Flow, Band, and Transcendence, so that I can get as much mana as possible for my spells, and of course that for my healing spells to be more effective for my allies and myself. And then, finally, which is the one that I used myself, which I am very proud of for the name, is known as Khaine's Fury. Which, by the way, if you don't know any of these gods, Kurnos is basically the god of the wild hunt. He's about, like, hunting and making sure there's the perseverance of nature and of life through the acts of hunting. And Isho is basically the more kind, more benevolent being of nature, more about the healing and the preservation of life through nurturing. And then there's also Khaine, who is literally the god of murder and bloodshed. So he doesn't really care who dies, just as long as there's bloodshed. I decided to make something for him there. I did originally have a custom rune for Loic, which was called Loic's Curse, but that one didn't necessarily work that well, so sorry, Loic, but I'm sure you'll have your time eventually. But right now, we have the Honor of Khaine, and obviously very fitting for Khaine and his desires. So we have Domination, which is basically hunt and eliminate prey, burst damage, and target access. I know I'm going to be reading a lot of the stuff that's here, but it's just so we get an idea of, it's just because I like reading over this kind of stuff. So for the Keystone of Domination, I decided to go for the Hail of Blades, which I gain a large amount of attack speed for the first 3 attacks made against enemy champions, which definitely works for someone like Warwick, who is very much like, hunt down the enemy champions as much as you can, like the wolf, in honor of Lord Fenrir, the World Eater. Anyway, furthermore, so we also have the Taste of Blood, because blood for Khaine! Heal when you damage an enemy champion. We also have Eyeball Collection. We collect eyeballs for champion takedowns, gain permanent attack AD or AP, adaptive for each eyeball. Plus, I think there's more to Gain an adaptive bonus of 1.2 attack damage or 2 ability power per eyeball collected. Upon completing your first collection of 10 eyeballs, additionally gain an adaptive bonus of 6 attack damage or 10 ability power. Collect 1 eyeball per champion takedown, and oh, are there a lot of takedowns. Then I also have the Ravenous Hunter. Omnivamp 1% plus 2% per Bounty Hunter stack. Bounty Hunter stacks are earned the first time you get a takedown on each enemy champion. Omnivamp is only 33% effective when dealing area of effect damage for damage through pets. Now, these are very important, especially for an ability that Warwick has, his Q ability. So that's definitely very useful to have. And I wonder if there's more. Yes, there is. So Hail of Blades gain 110% attack speed when you attack an enemy champion for up to 3 attacks. No more than 3 seconds can elapse between attacks, or this effect will end. Cooldown 8 seconds out of combat with champions. Attack resets increase the attack limit by 1. Allows you to temporarily exceed the attack speed limit. So, very good to have. For my secondary keystone, I have the sorcery, which is meant for, like, magic damage, obviously, and also just for magic or mana, really, which is definitely why I decided to go for this one. So Unleash Destruction, Empowered Abilities, and Resource Manipulation. So the first thing I wanted to get was Mana Flow Band, because for a lot of my ADC champions, their mana is definitely very important. So being able to unleash my abilities is going to be very important. I mean, yes, the basic attacks are going to do well, but the abilities are going to be what helps even more, obviously. So, for Mana Flow Band, hitting an enemy champion with an ability permanently increases your maximum mana by 25 up to 250 mana. After reaching 250 bonus mana, restore 1% of your missing mana every 5 seconds. Cooldown 15 seconds. Then I also have the Gathering Storm. Gain increasing amounts of attack damage or ability power, adaptive over the course of the game. So as you can see, 10 minutes I get plus attack ability power or 5 attack damage. As you can see, it just continues to go on, etc., etc. So the longer the game goes, the more damage I'm going to be able to lay down upon all of my foes. And then I also have the final 3 little buffs to the rune, which for offense I have plus 10% attack speed. For flex, I have 9 adaptive force for either attack damage or ability power, and for defense, I have health that is based on level plus 15 for the earliest, 90 for the latest, and that is basically Khaine's Fury and how I built it up. I think that's exactly how the video did it, but I wasn't entirely too sure, but I felt this was the most useful way of doing it. Don't know if I got it exactly correct, but it definitely works here. So here is the match. We have Aniko for mid, we have Urgot for, I believe, I think he was bottom, support bottom. Ashe was our top, we have Brand for our bottom, and then we have, for me, the jungler as Warwick. And we're going to be keeping our camera on me the entire time. I'm sorry, I'm so used to being Ashe, so I was about to click on that. So we're going to click on me so the camera plays for my plays. And we're going to see how the whole thing goes down. Here is the best and goodest boy around, Warwick here, ready to just rip the heads off of his enemies in honor of Fenrir and Khaine, to honor the blood gods and bring the end upon the world through the hunting of the prey. Anyway, so I take a little bit of time to just look over my abilities, just make sure what it is they can do. I decide to start with my 3, which is the Primal Howl. Warwick gains 35% damage reduction for 2.5 seconds. After it ends, Warwick howls, fearing nearby enemies for 1 second. Warwick can recast to end the ability early. So I went for this because as a jungler, I am going to be going up against some powerful camp monsters, so I wanted to make sure that I had a way that I could maintain my health in a way that works for me, where I take as little damage as possible. I probably could have gone for Jaws of Beast. It probably would have worked better, because here Warwick lunges forward to bite, dealing 84 attack damage or ability power plus 6% max health magic damage, restoring 30% of the damage dealt as health. So that would have helped for getting me some lifesteal. Hold Warwick lunges and clamps his jaws on the target, leaping behind them while clamped. Warwick follows all movement of the target, and releasing his hold, he does the same damage and healing. So I did not realize this. I only noticed the tap, which is what I went for. But so far you'll see that it kind of worked the way it worked anyway without me understanding the whole holding thing. So I work with my my leashed ally champions to help me get the red buff, so that I can help with the health regeneration. Because as you could tell, I took a bit of a beating even with the Howl. So then I just kind of move on to the rest of the jungle monsters and just get some leveling up. I get some experience and, of course, some extra gold. So it definitely helps. Nico gets the first blood. I didn't really see how it happened, but I was too busy focusing on my goal, which was just dealing with the camp monsters. I use a health potion as well, because I start off with the starter item, which is my usual and also my favorite, which is the Hail Blade, which gives me Omnivamp against jungle monsters. And when it is fully leveled up, I can use it on champions, which slows them down and makes it easier to smite them and to be able to catch up to them. So it's a very favorite starting item for me. I also have the refillable potion with the remainder gold. As you can tell, that 3 works wonders for this particular camp because there's so many of them, but at the same time, I'm also taking a lot of damage. But luckily, I leveled up to level 2, which gets me the Jaws of the Beast, which helps me with being able to get a little bit of lifesteal. And of course, there is also the fact that I used the last of my refillable potions, and yeah, that pretty much just helps with me, and basically, I just clear this camp, and that's all that kind of happens here. Okay, so Brand is signaling to be careful down there. I kind of take this as a sign of like, wait a minute, should I go over there to help him out? And along the way, as you can see on the map, you can tell that Master Yi is over there, and he kind of backs off a little bit as he realizes I'm coming, so I take this as like, okay, I'll just take this little scutter bale, and he keeps trying to nearby, see if he could steal it. I try to chase him off. It doesn't necessarily work to my favor because he's hiding in the bush and he takes the creep from me, but I decide not to let this go, and I chase after him a little bit and scare him off, but the damage is already done, and he has basically won the day, but let me just give you a little heads up. It's not going to last forever for him. And, in fact, I will remember this. But he wasn't important, so I look over to the bottom again, and I see that the enemy has pushed up quite a bit. I decided to put down a little ward just to make sure that the camp is good and well, or not the camp, but, well, you know what I mean. So I decided to go after the heroes, but she, as you could tell, she flashes away. I don't remember what her name is. But I decided to take one of the creeps, even though, because I was there and I may as well just get something. I decided to go and see if I can get over to top, but I realized that enemy has vision since they killed the Scuttlefield, and it wasn't necessarily going to work for me. So I just go to the top jungle and see if there's anything I can do over there. And yes, as you can tell, it is a bit of a trek, but I also happen to run in to some minions, and I decided to farm one of them at the very least because, I mean, you know, it had some low health. I wanted to be able to take advantage of it and just maybe get a little bit of XP. And I go over here to the Scuttle Beetle over here so that I can be able to get myself a nice bit of gold, a nice bit of experience, and also just, you know, some vision in general for that riverside. Take down the shield. And then Master Yi doesn't try to intervene here, but he is going after the Drake, which is a bit of a problem, admittedly. I probably should have done something about that, but I do secure the Scuttle Beetle. And then I go for the blue buff here, so that I can take some more experience and some gold. I start off with the E, so that I can get some extra damage reduction, and then get a quick bite so that I can get some healing, get some damage, and it's definitely working for me here. I don't even really need to use Smite that often, but at the same time, it's very nice to be able to use it because of my starter items so that I can use Smite on champions and slow them down while also giving them a nice bit of damage. And then I just decide to take the rest of the camps over here because that is kind of my job. I eventually get my W and my Q is leveled up to level 2. And my W gives a nice passive, as you can tell, where it makes me faster whenever I run in the direction of an enemy champion that is below 50% health. But that is not my concern right now because the enemy champions are all the way over there. So I just decided to focus on the jungle camps so that I can get some moolah and get some experience, level up, because that's the important thing for any champion, but especially the jungler, because you definitely want to be ahead of the enemy jungler so that you can get an advantage over them. As you can see, I'm running over to the bottom jungle again, and just do my business. Just focus on the monsters a little bit, since there aren't really... I could have gone over to the top, because Riven is definitely overextended. If only I'd noticed earlier, I probably would have done that, but unfortunately, I didn't. So, yeah, I just ended up doing my business over here. Nico transforms into me, basically, and I noticed Master Yi coming by, and I'm wondering if I should do something about it. Nico steals one of the little raptors, actually 2 of them, so that was a little bit mean, but as you can see, I got my health up going, and I finally decided in the end to go after Master Yi, and we definitely got him in our vice, and he tries to escape one last time with his Q, but I make sure that he can't do that, and his meditation is cancelled by my howl. So there goes his little healing moment, and I just take the first kill. As you can see, let's see if yep, Yi is dead, but it is also the first kill from me. So off to a good start. I take some of the minions over here so that I can get a little bit of farming. I know they're supposed to be Nico's, but, you know, she's doing fine. She's got a couple of heroes, and... but, yes, normally don't do that. That's just kind of mean. I decide to go for red buff here, so that I can get more farming from the jungles. And, I just go for the, yeah, that's basically all that happens. There's not really much I need to tell. It's just going for red buff. That's literally it. I believe I used one of these smites here, but I used the smite to finish off the red buff. And, I head downwards to the bottom lane because I realized that the enemy has overextended a little bit, and I thought, hey, this seems like a good opportunity to do some, ganking. May as well do some ganking. And, so, the hunt is on, and I see that one of them is in fact below 50% health, and I go for her. So, Bardmesium, your time has come, and Khaine's sacrifice shall be satisfied. Brand helps me out in taking care of this little munchkin and offering him to the altar of Khaine for a nice little double kill for me. So Khaine be praised as the blood flows through my veins and the blood drains from my claws, as Fenrir is pleased by the offerings I bring upon him. After that little bloodshed, I go for the Scuttle Beetle and decide to get a little bit of vision so that next time Master Yi does not have the jump, and I will be able to have some vision for the Drake, and maybe next time I will get him. Unfortunately, I don't, but at the very least, I do have a nice chunk of gold and a nice little bit of experience from it, even though it was a defenseless creature, but, you know, it had plenty of health and plenty of shields. Since Nico isn't around, or at least wasn't around when I saw her, I just decided to farm some minions. I mean, she did steal well, Brand, that was actually Brand, duh. But, you know, a little bit of payback for stealing those couple of raptors, Nico, how dare you. But here I decided to do something very important, and that is going after the Herald of the Rift, and it definitely is a very big help, as you will see eventually as we go on in the match. I could have gone for the weak spot now that I realize in the back, but it wasn't important to me, and I didn't really care because I had the Herald Rift all to myself, although that really could have changed now that I realize it. But I did eventually take the weak spot because it decided to turn its butt to me, which was not a very good idea. Because I was able to get the advantage over him just out of pure luck. And here, I upgrade my starter item in order to be able to upgrade my smite into a chilling smite, dealing 510 true damage to a target epic, large, or medium Joker monster or enemy minion. Against monsters, additionally restore 70 plus 100 health. It could also be used against a champion to deal 68 true damage, and steal 20% of their movement speed for 2 seconds. And this is what I normally use it for, if I'm being perfectly honest, because it's just so effective against enemy champions, and it just really helps in being able to take them down. I help out a little with top by stealing some of the farm. Honestly not very good, but I saw a Riven up here earlier, and I thought this would be the perfect place to use the Herald of the Rift. So this is just me giving a little bit of help out with a little bit of compensation. No offense, Ash. Sorry about that. I know you're doing well, but I just really wanted to use the Herald of the Rift, and I thought this was the perfect place to do it. So the Herald of the Rift is summoned. I used my ult but missed, but eventually it doesn't matter because I was able to take down Riven, but she's able to take me down in turn, so it didn't quite go as well, but at the same time, it didn't really matter to me because I still got the kill, and I still was able to get the Herald of the Rift down where I wanted it to. So it was able to take down a tower exactly as intended as Ash finishes it off. And here I am back in Fountain. As you could probably have been able to tell, I had quite a bit of money saved up, so I decided to go and spend it, and I was able to get it through a nice, good old-fashioned Sunfire Aegis for 350 health, 30 armor, 30 magic resist, and 15 ability haste. So, Warwick is a bit of a damage dealer, but also very good when it comes to being tanky. So the Sunfire Aegis definitely helps a lot with that. As you can tell here, I noticed there's some weak prey, and I definitely decided to make a chase for Master Yi here. No way he's escaping me. I unleash the Howl to terrify him, I get some good hits, and then I finish him off as he tries to meditate his way out of the situation. But sorry, meditation does not solve everything, Master Yi. It could solve plenty things, but it definitely does not solve the cure of dying. Unfortunately, although we wish it probably would. But after killing him, I decided to take a nice little calm moment to steal the Scuttle Beetle. I don't know if that's the actual name, but that's what I call it. I was also able to buy some regular boots for extra movement speed, and also some cloth armor for extra armor. So, as you can tell, I'm doing pretty well when it comes to the armor aspect, 96, and a nice, funny old 69 magic resistance. Yeah, number, wink. And it's top quality. And I, of course, as you can see, I still have my refillable potion. More about the Sunfire Aegis is that it gives the Immolate. Taking or dealing damage causes you to begin dealing 23 magic damage per second to nearby enemies, increased by 25% against minions, and 100% against jungle monsters for 3 seconds. Oh wait, hold on. We're seeing some Fiora action as I am hunting her down. I unleash my ultimate against her. She tries to stun me a little bit, but she is so close and she tries so hard to escape. But unfortunately, I use my flash to eventually just deal the final blow as I give a basic attack and she is knocked down out of the fight. So another prey hunted in the name of Lord Khaine and Lord Fenrir. Top notch. I decided to head up here just for funs to see if there's any jungle monster that I could steal. I see Master Yi instead. As you can tell, he took the red buff. But Master Yi does try to escape, and unfortunately, I'm not able to chase him any further because he is in the safety of the towers. I go back to see if the red buff was gone, and in fact it was because I was too busy trying to chase Master Yi to notice. So instead, I decide to see one more time if Master Yi is vulnerable, but he isn't necessarily, although, yeah, he is under the safety of the tower, so there's not really anything I can do. So I just go back to the bottom and simply just take the monsters from there. But I also notice over here that the two bottom heroes are kind of overextended, so I think this is a pretty good opportunity. They do have a ward over here, so I'm pretty sure they get an early warning. That is, if they weren't too distracted by the tower, which it seemed like they were. But I unleash my abilities. I unleash my W to make me faster in the chase, unleash my Howl, and also my Bite and my ult upon that poor little fiend. I kind of stay in the fight a little bit too long, and that is what leads to my demise. But in the end, I was able to take down one of the heroes like I wanted to, so that works out for me. I wish I could have survived that, but I didn't. And here is where I am able to finish off the plated steel caps, where I get some extra movement speed, reduces incoming damage from attacks by 12%, and gives me an extra 20 armor. Now, for more on the Sunfire Aegis, The immolate damage by where was I? So increases the subsequent immolate damage by 10% for 5 seconds, max stacks 6. I also have Flame Touch, adds maximum immolate stacks. Your attacks burn nearby enemies for your immolate damage per second for 3 seconds. So that's a very nice added bonus. And the Mythic passive grants all other legendary items 5 ability haste. So that's very, very nice to have. It definitely helps me for camps like this where it just damages them. I also eventually bought the Tiamat, which for every regular basic attack, it deals up to 78 physical damage to nearby enemies. So that's why you could see some of the damaging to enemies even though I'm not attacking them, but they are nearby. As you can see, Master Yi is waiting for the Drake, and I decide to go check on the Drake myself, and here is where I see my wonderful little prey hunting after the Scuttle Beetle, and so I decide to chase him away. But here is where I make a little bit of a mistake. Even though I know the enemy has vision here, I decide to go for the dragon anyway, which ends up not being a good idea. As you could see, there's a nice gathering of heroes up there, and I thought they were far enough away where they wouldn't notice me and would have been busy with other things, which was a huge mistake on my end, because they eventually come down over here, and yeah, it really doesn't go well. I do start off getting in some good damage, but they steal the dragon, and I wasn't even able to kill Master Yi, and it ends in my demise. So as you can see, I kind of slack off a little bit due to to a bit of arrogance, and this won't be the last time I do something like this, because it will continue. I apologize, but just a fair warning, the arrogance will continue. But, you know, it's still not doing too terribly because I still have a lot more kills than I do deaths. So that's still fine by me. Even though I probably should still be more careful out of the little mishaps that have been occurring. So Brand was able to take care of Master Yi, but Urgot did get killed. Sorry, Spider Legs man, but yeah, that really didn't go well. Anyway, so I go back on the field of battle, and then I make preparations for how I can deal with the enemies at the bottom. One of them is, yeah, this is going to be where I make one of the mistakes, where she is below 50% health, but at the same time, I'm still pursuing her even though I am horribly dying. And, yeah, it just really doesn't end well, because it ends embarrassingly bad. Because I decided to get too greedy, and I overextend myself by a huge margin. So yeah, it really, really it's really something I should have just realized I should have stopped sooner. I don't know why I didn't realize that. I feel like I did, but at the same time, I was like, oh well, I'm in too deep right now, I may as well just finish him in some sort of blaze of glory, even though it wasn't all that glorious. So yes, I am now with 4 deaths, but I do get myself a nice little longsword for some extra attack damage. It is meant to be building up into something else, but I don't quite remember what it was, but we'll figure out later what it is I build it into. Anyway, so I decided to go into top jungle a little bit. I decided to go for the blue buff, and as you can see, there's just utter chaos everywhere. And yeah, it just isn't going well, but I go for the blue buff, and I decide I need to level up because I realize that, let's see, what is this hero called? Bartmesium, I don't know the actual hero name, but Bartmesium is definitely levels higher than me, and that's what I noticed, so I decide that, hey, if I'm gonna go through this, I need to level up myself a little bit more. I realize I have been slacking a little bit, so I need to try and fix that problem. So I go and deal with the jungle camp so that I can get myself some extra experience and just deal with the issue at hand so that I can handle team fights a little bit better. And as you can see, there's a team fight going on over here, and I decide to activate my W so that I can move a little bit faster. I go after Fiora as she is trying to escape, but then as Master Yi tries to shield block her, Master Yi dies, and so does Riven. So they both die with me assisting, and then Bran just decides to steal red buff. Not cool, bro. That's my area of duty, not yours. How dare you steal my red buff like that just because you started it. I mean, I'm the jungler. I'm the one that's supposed to be dealing with the jungle monsters, not you. But I decide to make this up by hunting down a few more jungle creatures, and that ends that. So I get into my passive where I desire the hunt, and I see some very easy prey right there, just at the bottom. I use my flash and finish him off with a nice little basic attack, where he just explodes to finish off his death. His embarrassing, humiliating desire to escape, well, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but he certainly did try to escape, to which I finished him off. And here's where more mistakes are made, but not necessarily at this particular moment. I mean, there is a mistake where I get hit by tower a lot as I am hunting down Master Yi. The kill is finished off, but that's not where the embarrassing part happens. I get out of range of the tower, and I decide I need to finish it off. And I realize I can't attack it, so I wait for more minions, and then I just kind of farm the minions that are there, or at least just attack them to get out of the way. And I decide now is the time to take down this tower so that I can get my allies a little bit more of an advantage. And as you can see, it does start to crumble, but as you can also see to the left of the minimap, you can also see the enemies starting to gather over here, and I stupidly decide to stay, even though I probably should have been aware of the fact that they would be coming for my ass. But I didn't care. As I saw all three of them at once, I decided to take them all on, even though that is the stupidest thing I could have possibly done. I should have ran away when I saw them, but for some reason I didn't, and I was still on my killing spree high, so that definitely did not work for me. But I was still able to get rid of the tower, so there was at least that taken care of. My allies decide to intervene, but they all kind of get into 2v1 situations with Ashe and Urgot, so Urgot kind of pays for that, and Ashe does not look like she's doing too well. She is trying to escape, and she slows Master Yi down. Brand comes in to help Ashe, and she barely makes it out of there. Oh no, wait, that was Nico. Right, she can shapeshift, I forgot. So then Brand goes in after the little munchkin, Willow Chaz. I don't know the hero's name for that one either, but again, you can't expect me to remember all of these names. There are so many champions and so many names, I can't remember all of them. But anyway, that takes care of little munchkin number... How many munchkins do they have? They have a bunch of them. But I decide to go in and help Ashe. Unfortunately, Ashe does not survive the fight, but I do take care of poor, what's her name? Ace Fixer Up? No, Bard's Museum. And then I get into a nice little duel with Fiora, and Fiora realizes that this is not the fight to go into, but I decide to hunt her down until she be dead, and then I go after Yone for a nice little bit of revenge, because I was not too happy after he killed me, so let me interrupt you in killing that dragon, wouldn't you mind? And then Master Yi thinks he's gonna come in to steal that dragon, and then realizes, nah, we already took it, bitch. And then Urgot kind of steals my kill by sucking the last of Master Yi inside his body, and that ends him. But still, it came out positive, so I'm not too upset. We got 12 kills, 5 deaths, and 3 assists, so you know what? That works for me, and I have a nice 300 gold bounty with 102 last hit kills for my record, so definitely carrying pretty nicely here, if I do say so myself. I decide to highlight the Baron Nashar, but first starting with the Scuttle Beetle, just so that we get extra vision. And then I am the first one to get in to battle with the Baron Nashar, one of the greatest offerings that can be made to the great Lord Khaine and to Fenrir the World Eater, for he must be honored with the greatest of sacrifices. And so, boom, down goes Baron Nashar, but it wasn't me, it was Nika that took him down. So, I guess, you know, I guess she's the one to make the offering and not me. I don't know if it's to Fenrir, so I don't know how to take that. Fiona tries to escape. As you could tell, I tried to join in the fight, but she is already taken down by Ashe, so that works for me. I decided to hunt down some extra minions, just for my own sake. The red buff is already down, though, so nothing I can do. Little Munchkin passes by because I'm too busy with the camps to even think about him, really. I kind of forgot I didn't finish off the camp, but no, wait, the red buff is still there, but I decide to steal it. So Master Yi is not able to get this, and I just take it all for myself. And here's a very interesting moment where I believe Master Yi will eventually come down here while I am stealing his camps. Oh no, wait, no, he just stays in base. But I do steal his camps, and that's pretty much me just being a little bit of a cocky douche. And yeah, you're probably right. I am being a cocky douche, and that is completely accurate. But I decide that I want to go to the bottom lane again. I'm not exactly sure why. Oh wait, I thought there was someone over here, but then I realized there wasn't because of the passive. But yeah, I think they teleported back to base. But I see a team battle going on, and I decide to intervene and help out as best I can. But most of them are already dead, so I wasn't able to do much. But that doesn't mean the action ends here. And I see little Munchkin, and I decide I want to offer you in replacement of the Baron Nashar, so I will hunt you and I'll offer you onto the altar, then take down the inhibitor, and then I continue on to the towers, and it's not going to take too long until eventually the team just kind of surrenders as we eventually get to the tower. As you could see, the Nexus up here is crumbling, and that is the end of that because the enemy team has surrendered. I really wish this was a ranked match, but it wasn't. So the achievements I made here does not help me in my ranking, but at the same time, a very good test run, if I do say so myself, with Warwick and the runes of Khaine's Fury, with a nice little bit of a 13 kills, 5 deaths, and 3 assists. So definitely works for me. So anyway, oh yeah, I already deleted the whole thing, sorry. I exited out of the video. But anyway, that's pretty much all we have for this video here, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Give that like button a stab if you're dead. Subscribe if you want more death in your life. Be sure the bell is tolling for thee. And until next time, rest in peace. Bye!